This is episode 3 of the Ether PDF read-through. Let's get right into it with character creation. So I have this little 5-step summary as like a roadmap of character creation, so you know what you're getting yourself into. So we'll start with the burden. Discover your past and burden by rolling on the respective tables. Stats. Roll for your attributes to determine your stamina, HP, and mana stats. Inventory. Spend your starting gold on equipment to restock your inventory. Skill. Choose a skill based on your past. And name. Finally, roll for a name and title. So this is it. It's just 5 steps. I wanted to put this little summary in here to kind of signpost and highlight how sort of simple it is, and it's these steps. If you kind of get lost in the character creation process, you can come back to this and be like, where am I again? Oh, here, okay. But it's hopefully not too hard to get lost in the character creation process because it's very fast and it's very fun to make these characters. I don't have a physical character sheet here, and I don't want to deal with figuring out how to fill one out digitally. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of stick it in this little note window here. And then I also don't have dice with me where I'm at right now, so I'll use this little dice roller. And then maybe if I'm feeling like it, I can put on the screen like a filled out character sheet that I'll do later for this character. So we're going to start with past. You found yourself entangled in a grim event that forever altered your life. Using the table on the right, roll a d20 for each column to fill in the blanks. Use the sentence below as the foundation of your character's backstory, interpreting it however you like. I committed a wrongdoing prompted by blank, connected to blank, upsetting the god of blank. So this is probably my favorite part of character creation. It gives you the chance to come up with your own backstory. It gives you the backstory without writing it for you. You're given this sentence as a prompt that is specifically yours. I don't know what the odds are in getting the same one twice, but it's probably not very likely. So you get the specific sentence, and it's your character's sentence, and you can interpret it however you want. And typically it sparks a story immediately, and you have you can write out a little paragraph of what your past is, or maybe it sparks something but you're not quite sure, but you can just leave it as the sentence because you can always come back to it. You'll write this out in your character sheet, and then you can expand on it later as you sort of figure out who your character is, but you'll always have this anchor of a sentence to play with. So without any further ado, let's roll a character. All right, let's do it. 9, 14, and 1. Fear, monster, and agriculture. Interesting. So I committed a wrongdoing prompted by fear, connected to a monster, upsetting the god of agriculture. So you can see how it kind of writes itself, and you can kind of move on from there and revisit this later. But right off the bat, I'm thinking some things. So first of all, of course, I'm afraid of the monster. Okay. Let's say I was a mercenary. I was sent to let's go super basic. I was sent to a remote village to deal with some monsters. Villagers wore horrifying costumes while they tended their gardens and farms, which simulated the function of scarecrows. My squad was unaware of this and assumed the village was swarming with monsters. We killed them all and discovered the truth after. The gardens and farms were picked clean. Okay, so it's kind of messy, but I wrote out this quick little idea here. I was a mercenary working for some kind of like new greedy farmers guild kind of thing, maybe where they're working on like new agriculture technology. Maybe this is like a sort of pre-industrial era where they're inventing these new gadgets and stuff. And I was none the wiser, really. Let's say I was pretty young. I was sent out to this remote village to deal with some monsters. And I was like, okay, cool. Let me go do this and get some money. And then we get there and see that there are these horrifying large creatures roaming in this village. But the gardens are beautiful and filled with fruit and vegetables. And they're everywhere, and they're harmonious with the landscape, but it's teeming with these horrifying creatures. So we killed them all, only to discover afterwards that the villagers were wearing these horrifying costumes. That they're traditional. They've been wearing them for hundreds of years, and they worked the way that scarecrows work to scare away the pests from kind of taking too much from the garden. And so that's why the god of agriculture burdened me with this wrongdoing. So first of all, I have to deal with the fact that I just killed like people, and I was very afraid because maybe this was my first mission as a mercenary, and I was very scared, especially when I saw these things, because I'd never seen a monster before. And I get there and they're everywhere and they're horrifying. And so my fellow mercenaries start firing arrows, and then we go and kill them all. And then we find out that they're regular people. So the wrongdoing is being a part of a massacre that's connected to monsters, or this like idea that these remote wild people are monsters, and upsetting the god of agriculture because these people were working with the land and tending to the gardens as harmoniously as possible. And so the god of agriculture is the one who burdened me. So that's my idea there for the past. Okay, so burden manifestation. Your troubled past became a physical burden that altered your appearance. Using the table on the right, roll a d20 for both columns. Use your results to inspire the appearance of your deformity. So I said that the past is my favorite part of character creation, but the burden is the most fun part, I think. And it's really easy. So I'm just going to roll 2 more d20s here. 15 and 10. I got spiky limb. Awesome. And then this, you can really connect directly to your past. So spiky limb. Oh, and going back to what I had written down there, after we had killed the villagers, the Farmers Guild came and took over the land and just like absolutely used it to ruin the soil, and it basically became like a desert or a little wasteland because these farmers came with their new technology and just ate up the land and then moved on to another place. So that's another reason why the god of agriculture was so upset with me. I was part of this. And so off of that, I think that, one of my arms or my legs resemble this machinery that tilled the land or dug it up or whatever. So I have like maybe my let's say that one of my arms is wrapped in a spiral of spiky, rusty blades with dirt caked onto them. Cool. And it's important to start a little light with your burden, because as we'll see later in this series, whenever you mark a burden, it gets worse. So I was going to say originally that both my arms were like that, but I'm going to start with one arm so that it has the potential to get worse. And maybe it's like eventually, if I mark that many burdens, I am just like a walking sort of piece of rusty machinery where all my limbs are made up of these spiky blades. But for now, let's say that I have one arm that it has like the spiky rotating metal spikes, and then there's also that dirt caked onto them. I think that's cool. So every day I have to see that piece of machinery that the farmers brought to the place where I was part of this massacre, and that's where they ruined the land. So cool, we have that. So we'll move on to stats. So this will be easy. So roll 1d4 for each attribute in order: strength, dex, constitution, intelligence, wit, and luck. If you roll a 1 3 times, start over. So we'll do that first, and then I'll get to stamina, HP, mana, and all that. So let's go to dice roller. 1 2 3 4 5 6. And we only have 2 ones, so I don't have to start over. The reason for that is if you get 3 ones, it's kind of not fair to have 3 ones. So this isn't too bad. Let me go ahead and write this in here. So strength is 3, dex is 1, constitution is 4, intelligence is 3, wit is 1, and luck is 4. Cool, so pretty well balanced. To get my stamina, I'm going to add strength and dex, so that's going to be 4. To get my HP, I'm going to add my constitution plus my armor, which I don't have yet, so I'm going to leave that blank. And then to get my mana, it is int plus wit, so 3 plus 1, so my mana is 4. Okay, and then gold, it's going to be 3d6 times 10. Okay, so 100. So just to explain that, I rolled 3 d6s, added them all up, which is 10, and then you multiply that by 10. So I have 100 gold to start with. If I had rolled this, I would have 80 gold to start with. If I had rolled this, I would have 60 gold to start with. So I have 100 gold. And we're pretty much going to use all of this starting gold in character creation. And I'll explain stamina, HP, and mana in the general rules video, but we're just getting through character creation right now, so I don't have to break into those. All right, inventory. Every player can carry a maximum of 15 weight, and I am using a little W for shorthand. So items range in weight from 0 to 1, 2, and 3 weight. Each 1 weight item takes up 1 box, and then you draw on the dotted lines to separate the boxes within the slot. Each character sheet has 5 slots. Right here, I'm only showing 3, but on the character sheet you have 5 slots. Let me swipe down here. So it's pretty intuitive here. So this is a 2 weight item, so it's taking up 2 slots. This is a 1 weight item, so it's there. We have a 3 weight item taking up a whole slot, and then these are 3 1 weight items, and then another 1 and a 2 weight. And the important thing here is that you can't split a 2 or 3 weight item into multiple slots. For example, if there was something here, the bejeweled heavy armor, it just couldn't fit here. It couldn't roll over into this slot. You would have to move that to a whole new slot. And that's mainly just a rule just to keep things tidy. I don't know. You can, I guess if you wanted to, you could have things split like that as long as you can keep track of it. And if you want to like role play with it too, I say here that each slot represents spaces on your person, such as your hands, your body, your belt, your pockets, your backpack, etc. All right, so buying equipment. So spend your starting gold on weapons, armor, supplies, and spellbooks. Don't worry if you spend all your gold. You will find more gold and equipment in your adventures. Pick from the following sections. So we can get weapons, armor, supplies, and spellbooks. So I have 100 gold to play with. First thing I'm going to do is get a weapon. So when you look at weapons, it says here you carry a particular set of arms from your past. So if I was a mercenary, I probably had a medium weapon or a light weapon. I wasn't a soldier. A soldier would probably have like a medium weapon. Let's say I had a light weapon. In the story, technically I had a bow, but let's see what I get. So a light weapon is 20 gold. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 20 gold because I want a light weapon. So I have 80 to play with now. But that's not the end here. Each weapon will have a weight and gold costs. To get a weapon, first choose light, medium, or heavy. I've chosen light. Then roll a d20 on the description column and another d20 in the desired weapon column. So roll 2 d20s. Oh my god. 19 and 19. That's insane. Okay. So I have a flaming small shield. Interesting. And again, I'm going to write this in here for now, but I'll show on the screen what this looks like in the character sheet. So it's pretty cool that I got this because I can talk about armor. So there's all kinds of like random weapons in here that don't really have a mechanic necessarily. But we have the shields and the runewood stuff at the bottom here. So as it says, the shield will give you a bonus to your armor, and the runewood weapons hold spells, which we'll get to later. So this is good because armor is expensive, and my weapon is giving me a little bit of armor, so that's awesome. And I can use the shield as a weapon if I want to narratively, and it's also flaming, so that's pretty sick. Why is it flaming? Maybe we burned the village down, and this is like maybe I picked up one of the villagers' tools, and I'm using it as a shield or something. But it's like magically still burning because of the significance of the event. There's like a lingering magic or whatever. I think that's cool. All right, so I have a weapon. I have 80 gold left. So next, let's get some armor. So I could get heavy armor and be fully a tank because I have 80 gold left. I can afford that, but I don't want to do that because then I won't be able to afford anything else. So I'm a mercenary. Let's go with light armor, which is 30 gold. So I'll go ahead and subtract that. So now I'm at 50. And then light armor, or with armor in general, it's just armor. It's just there's no like fancy words for them. If you want to, you can roll on the description column from the weapons table, which I can go ahead and do just to show you. 11. Okay. So chewed light armor. Cool. And then the light armor gives me a +1 to armor. And of course medium is +2 and heavy is +3. So with my light armor I have a +1 armor. A question you might have is, can I double up on armor? And no, you can only wear one set of armor at a time. So I have 50 gold left. I could get a medium weapon, but of course I want to show you how, what the spells are all about. So spellbooks are 30 gold, so I can afford one spellbook, and supplies are 10 gold each. All right, let's get a spellbook next. So I'm going to spend 30 gold on that, which leaves me with 20 gold, which is perfect because then I can have 2 supplies. And then supplies are these undefined ordinary objects that are relevant in game. So once you get to a certain situation in the game, let's say you need a piece of rope to drop down to somebody to pull them up, but it's not written in your inventory. You've never had a piece of rope. We'll just take that supply that you had in your inventory and then erase it and then write rope. And then you can't do that again. You have a rope permanently. So this acts as a way to like bring improvisation with these ideas, but still kind of put a cap on it where, you can suddenly have a rope if you want one, but you can't, do that again because you spent that one unless you have more supplies. So I spent my last 20 on supplies. So I have 2 supplies. So I can do that twice. My character can do that twice. But I don't want to gloss over spell books because I need to roll for that. So I did buy 1 spell book. So I have the spell book table here, and I'm going to roll a d20 on that. 16, which is going to be teleportation. That's cool. That hasn't come up in a game yet, so it's fun to think about teleportation. And then we'll go over what teleportation means in the spellcasting video. All right, let's just go back to the summary real quick. So we did burden, got the past and the physical burden. I rolled for stats. Oh, see, this is why it's important to go back, because now I need to get my HP. It's a combination of my constitution and armor. So 4 constitution, and then I have 2 from my shield and my light armor combined, which makes my HP 6. Okay, back to the summary. Cool, so burden, stats, inventory. Now I choose my skill. So moving on down. So skills correlate with your level. So every time you level up, you get another skill. So with level 1, you start with 1 skill, and there's 6 levels altogether. So based on my past, I'm going to choose my skill. So find inspiration from your past to choose 1 skill from the skill list. These grant you advantage for actions that involve a chosen skill 3 times per long rest. So to just briefly go over skills so that you have some context, you get 3 chances to use a skill per day. So like as you level up, you get more skills, but you'll always only be able to use 3 skills per day. So as you level up, you get more options, but you'll always only have 3 per day. So I could choose one based on my past. I'm going to say that my skill is stealth because my team would have had to be very stealthy to sneak up on a whole village and kill them all. So my skill is stealth. Cool. And then we go to name. Super fun, super self-explanatory. So I'm going to roll 2 D100s. So I got 67 to start with and 41. Cool. So that means that my name is Jem the Swift. Ooh, that's cool. Jem the Swift. Which is great because I'm stealthy. And as soon as I realized that we massacred a bunch of villagers, I probably got the hell out of there swiftly, I probably abandoned the mercenary team. But then I was also burdened with this horrifying spiky arm. So eventually I found my way to the Burdened Guild. That's really cool. I like that name. I might as well combine character creation with the character sheet real quick, and then I'll make general rules its own video. It's free to download on itch on the same page as Ether. You can print it out, and it's designed to be folded and used almost like a zine, and you can slide it into your copy of Ether, which prints are on the way. Actual prints of the book are on the way. You can buy a printed version of the book, hopefully by the end of this year. But anyways, the character sheet is designed to be just put into a book like that, so you can just have your book and have your character sheet in there. So this is a character sheet in the middle of an adventure, basically. I wanted to have it that way so you can kind of see it in action. So you write your past up here, you write your burden in here. This is the 0 weight section. These are things that don't weigh anything, like gold, for example, doesn't have a weight, and stuff like papers and like jewelry. This is your level tracker. So with every long rest, you'll transfer however many ether that you had gathered into the level tracker. So right now, this character has 4 held ether, and then at their next long rest, they're going to erase those and then transfer it over into here. So as you can see, it goes up to level 6. Each level is 3 ether more than the last one. And then we have your skills section. So this is where you mark off every time you use one per day. So at the end of the day, you'll erase all these, and you'll get those back. But this person is level 3, as you can see, and they have 3 different skills that they can choose from throughout the day, and then the box for notes. And then of course we have name, player name, and then this is where you write your stamina, HP, and mana. And this can be a little divisive. You can keep track of your stats however you want, but I just kind of found myself doing this tally system where, so this person, as they played the game, they took 5 hits, so they would tally for each hit that they took, they would tally it. And at this point in time, this character has used all of their stamina, so they tallied 5 full stamina there, which means that now their HP is being affected. So the stamina is like the buffer for the HP, but I'll go over that in another video. So now they've taken 3 hits to their HP out of 7. And then same thing with mana, they've used 2 mana out of 4. And then these are the attributes. This is held ether. This is rests. You get 3 short rests per long rest, which I'll go over in another video. And this is your burden meter. Every time you mark a burden to basically resurrect yourself, this is where you'll keep track of that. And this is the inventory, which I already went over. So that's the character sheet in a nutshell. So in conclusion, we made this character. We have Jem the Swift, a rookie mercenary who slaughtered a group of remote villagers who were wearing crazy costumes that scared the group of mercenaries. They were also told that there were monsters ahead of time, so they were expecting monsters. They killed them all. They're working for some kind of farmers guild that's developing these new crazy contraptions for agriculture, like industrial style stuff. So really they sent Jem the Swift and the mercenary group out to just dispose of these people so that they can come onto the land and develop it and ruin it basically with their inventions. So I was burdened by the god of agriculture with this spiky limb that looks like a mechanical, spiky, metallic agricultural machine. I have a pretty balanced set of attributes. 4 stamina is not bad. 6 HP is pretty good. 4 mana, not bad. I have 0 gold now, but I'll get more as I adventure. I have a flaming small shield that I'm saying is like a part of the village. I was able to like kind of come away with something. And then I have some light armor. Maybe the villagers had some dogs or something, and that's why my armor's chewed. So during the whole massacre and the chaos, the dogs were like chewing on my armor. And I have a teleportation spell book that I may have had before the incident or after, whatever. I'm going into my future adventures with this teleportation spell book. Maybe that's why they call me Jem the Swift, because I'm able to like get around so easy. I'm teleporting everywhere. I have 2 supplies, 2 mundane items. Maybe I have a rope, maybe I have a torch, maybe I have a lockpick, that kind of thing. And then my skill is stealth. So 3 times per day, I can have advantage on stealth rolls, or on attribute rolls that involve stealth. Okay, well, thank you for watching the video on character creation. You can download Aether for free on this itch page, link in the description. Check out the Temple of the Ancient Face actual play series that is also on this channel. And that is all. Thank you. Bye.